Shania, a well-known Bollywood actress, was a firm believer in God. Her faith was strong and she prayed every day for success in her career. One of her biggest wishes was to win the Best Actress award at the upcoming ceremony. On the night of the awards, she got ready with a lot of excitement, dressed in a glittering, eye-catching outfit. Shania, the star of the evening, made her grand entry into the event. The room fell silent as Aditya, a renowned director, took the stage to announce the winner of the Best Actress award. To Shania's shock, it was Sanjana, a newcomer, who won the accolade. Heartbroken, Shania left the awards abruptly, detaching her belief knots, symbols of her faith in God. Once outside, she was met by a mysterious man who suggested a radical idea: to consider the power of black magic instead of relying solely on God. Upset and lost, Shania found herself mulling over this unexpected proposition. Aditya arrives at Shania's place to console her, but their encounter quickly escalates into a heated argument. Shania, devastated and inconsolable, lashes out, and Aditya, defeated, reluctantly leaves. Alone and consumed by despair, Shania's thoughts turn to a forbidden solution. She contemplates delving into the world of black magic, seeking a path that promises to restore her fading fame. Accompanied by the man who introduced her to black magic, Shania enters his car to meet a powerful individual with supernatural abilities. Their conversation within the car delves into the mysterious realm that lies ahead. Filled with intrigue and urgency, the man urges Shania to follow him, leading her further down the treacherous path of dark enchantment. The powerful man engages in conversation with Shania, but suddenly his gaze fixates on a mirror. To her horror, Shania witnesses his true, ghastly face, sending chills down her spine. In a terrifying moment, he leads her to a ritualistic ceremony, urging her to drink water that promises unimaginable power. Overwhelmed, Shania consumes the ominous liquid. Subsequently, she finds herself playing a game of pool with director Aditya, where her actions turn intimate, as she intercedes him to cross physical boundaries. As Shania's desperation to reclaim her success reaches its peak, she becomes increasingly daring. Removing her clothes, she draws closer to Aditya, engaging in passionate kisses and embraces. With a sinister motive, Shania manipulates Aditya, persuading him to help her poison Sanjana, convinced it will revive her fading career. In their twisted alliance, fueled by desperation, Shania convinces Aditya of their love and his unwavering commitment. Succumbing to her influence, Aditya reciprocates with fervent kisses and embraces, cementing their unholy pact. To solidify their malevolent intentions, they bury a sacred idol, signifying their readiness to poison Sanjana. Aditya cunningly orchestrates a meeting with Sanjana, driven by a sinister motive: to poison her water. Engaging her in conversation, he patiently awaits the opportune moment to discreetly taint her drink. Once accomplished, a chilling nightmare befalls Sanjana. Startled from her slumber, she is tormented by eerie sounds that send shivers down her spine. Filled with trepidation, she steps out of her room, only to find a scene of disarray. Determined to restore order, she meticulously fixes the disruption. However, her attention is drawn to the flickering glow of the television. Mesmerized by its eerie allure, she watches in abject terror as a grotesque hand emerges from the screen, its icy grip tightening around her trembling neck. Overwhelmed by sheer horror, her screams pierce the silence, echoing through the night. Sanjana's career takes a nosedive, plagued by the haunting memories of the TV incident the night before. Consumed by fear and uncertainty, she delves into a deep introspection, questioning her own sanity. But her ordeal is far from over. As she enters a strange room, intending to freshen up, she finds herself transported into a nightmarish realm. Walking through the eerie space, her eyes widen in horror as a grotesque Joker appears, dancing with twisted delight. His terrifying presence sends shivers down her spine, forcing Sanjana to flee in sheer panic, her screams echoing through the dark corridors. The relentless Joker relentlessly pursues her, his presence casting an ominous shadow. Sanjana desperately seeks refuge, hiding in the shadows, but the Joker's malevolent laughter chases her at every turn. Running for her life, she navigates through the labyrinthine hallways, her heart pounding in her chest. In a thrilling escape, She finally manages to break free from the Joker's clutches. Sanjana seeks solace in a medical consultation with no success. However, one fateful night, her maid attempts to break the silence, revealing the sinister reality of black magic behind Sanjana's torment. Aditya swiftly silences the maid and dismisses her, leaving Sanjana bewildered. The scene shifts to a chilling night as Sanjana is awakened by haunting noises, compelling her to venture beyond the confines of her room. She steps into a realm of chaos, witnessing the aftermath of dark forces at play. In the bathroom, she finds her maid, consumed by tears and despair, her cries resonating with an eerie intensity. The maid's visage distorts into a nightmarish semblance as she relentlessly pursues Sanjana, intent on inflicting harm. Her eyes gleaming with a chilling glint, the maid steps echo ominously through the hallways. Undeterred by Sanjana's pleas, she inches closer, her intention clear to fulfill the dark bidding of her master and deepen Sanjana's descent into the shadowy realm of fear and uncertainty. Overwhelmed by terror, she manages to find shelter within the sanctuary of her room, where she seeks solace and protection from Aditya. Aditya ventures outside to confront the horrifying reality, only to discover the lifeless body of the maid hanging from a fan. In a macabre display, the ghostly presence of the maid taunts them before succumbing to her own tragic fate. The image of the lifeless body, swinging from the fan, remains etched in their minds, a stark reminder of the malevolence they face. The scene is terrifying. In her desperate search for answers, Sanjana seeks solace from a revered priest, hoping to unravel the sinister forces plaguing her existence. In a solemn gathering, the priest performs an ancient ritual, guiding Sanjana through the mystic incantations. As the incense smoke rises and swirls, she fixes her gaze upon the ethereal wisps, her senses heightened in anticipation. Within the haze, an otherworldly creature begins to materialize, its grotesque and nightmarish form taking shape before her trembling eyes. Overwhelmed by terror, Sanjana's scream pierces the air, realizing the extent of the black magic ensnaring her soul, casting her into a realm of malevolence and despair. Determined to rescue her from this grim fate, the priest embarks on a perilous journey into the hidden depths of the spiritual realm. With unwavering resolve, he traverses through the murky abyss, finally encountering Sanjana, her spirit bound by ethereal chains, her struggle for freedom etched upon her anguished face. The priest's eyes narrow as he scrutinizes the chains, seeking a means to break their mystical grip. However, his actions stir the attention of a vile and corrupted entity, emerging from the darkness with nefarious intent. The creature advances towards the priest, emanating a palpable aura of malevolence. In a chilling confrontation, the priest valiantly fights to protect Sanjana, but the creature's power proves overwhelming. With a swift and deadly strike, the priest succumbs to the entity's malefic influence, his life force extinguished. Returning to the mortal plane, Sanjana and the lifeless priest plummet, descending from the spiritual realm to the harsh reality of the physical world. In a heart-stopping moment, Sanjana's eyes widen in terror as she beholds the priest's severed head, a horrifying sight that etches itself into her very soul. She endures a sequence of horrifying and gruesome experiences that drag her deeper into the clutches of fear and darkness. In the shadow of Sanjana's deteriorating health and mounting struggles, Aditya finds himself being drawn towards her, as if by a magnet. An affection, profound and deep, develops within him for Sanjana, creating a divide between him and Shania, who was once a trusted confidant. Shania, however, with her ambitions gnawing at her, morphs into a schemer. She employs black magic as her tool, manipulating Aditya to inflict harm upon Sanjana, all to augment her own career. Repulsed by his part in these cruel machinations, Aditya resolves to break free from her stranglehold. He confronts Shania, sparking a heated face-off between the two, shaking them both to their cores. Yet, despite Aditya's firm resistance, Shania's thirst for power and revenge remains unquenched. Cornered and desperate to salvage her dwindling stardom, she resorts to blackmail, unveiling a secretly filmed video of their intimate encounter. She threatens to disrupt Sanjana's trust and the tender bond forming between her and Aditya. In the face of this perilous threat, Aditya grudgingly agrees to perpetuate Shania's malicious deeds, thus finding himself entrapped in a dark cycle of manipulation and deceit. The tension escalates when all characters converge at a glitzy Bollywood party. Sanjana, innocently stepping into this treacherous lion's den, is subjected to a terrifying series of encounters. Each experience, more chilling than the last, sends her spiraling deeper into the abyss of fear, tightening Shania's grip over her. Immersed in the glamour of the Bollywood party, Sanjana goes to the restroom. Her gaze is drawn towards the sink where the strange sound seems to originate. She suddenly recoils in horror as the first cockroach makes its appearance, breaking the silence with its characteristic scuttle. In quick succession, more cockroaches start to emerge, transforming the once mundane sink into a horrifying spectacle. They crawl over each other, their numbers multiplying at an alarming rate. What follows next is a chilling onslaught. One by one, the cockroaches launch their attack, each movement a terrifying advance towards Sanjana. Panic sets in, her heart pounding in her chest as a sudden itch begins to creep up her body. It's a physical manifestation of her terror, causing her to scratch incessantly, every stroke leaving a burning sensation on her skin. In her frantic desperation, she imagines the insects infiltrating her clothes. The idea is so horrifying that she frantically begins to strip off her clothing, piece by piece. In the midst of her terror, Sanjana is overwhelmed by a swarm of cockroaches crawling over her body, their repulsive presence sending her into a state of sheer panic. Her piercing screams echo through the room as the vile insects continue to crawl and scatter, enveloping her in a nightmare. Desperately, Sanjana tries to brush off the cockroaches, their vile touch causing her skin to crawl with revulsion, as she battles to escape the suffocating grip of this grotesque nightmare. Naked and petrified, she races from the bathroom, her fear propelling her back into the party, each step a cry for help. Her unexpected entry causes a stir among the crowd. Gasps and murmurs fill the air as the media springs into action, camera flashes piercing the confusion as they capture the harrowing scene. Aditya emerges as her only savior. He quickly rushes to her side, shielding her from prying eyes and judgmental whispers. He offers her the solace she desperately seeks, guiding her away from the spotlight. In the wake of Sanjana's public ordeal, we find Shania indulging in celebration. Meanwhile, a profound realization dawns upon Aditya. He can no longer be Shania's puppet. Aditya returns to the hallowed grounds where they buried the sacred idol. He uncovers it from the dirt, a symbolic act that solidifies his intent to rescue Sanjana from the clutches of black magic. Parallelly, Sanjana, consumed by her rage and fear of losing her power, confronts the supernatural man once again. The man, now transformed into a grotesque figure of dread, offers her a wild bargain that if she sleeps with him, and she'll maintain her power. Caught in the grip of desperation, Sanjana hesitates for a moment, her mind swirling with the consequences of such a Faustian pact. Despite her repulsion, Sanjana acquiesces, surrendering to her desperation. In the dead of the night, the man enters the hospital, a nightmarish figure that casts an eerie shadow down the sterile halls. The supernatural creature makes a chilling entrance into the hospital. Initially appearing as a worm, it slithers eerily along the sterile, cold floor, raising the tension in the room. Slowly but steadily, the worm morphs into a larger entity. Approaching Sanjana, the creature reveals another monstrous attribute. It introduces this malicious creature into Sanjana's ear. The act is not just an attempt to physically harm her, but also a malicious ploy to tear her spirit apart. Sanjana's health plummets drastically. She hovers on the brink of death due to the black magic she's entangled in. The priest and doctor join forces to break Sanjana's chains of black magic. The only route was for Aditya to enter into the supernatural world to battle the sinister creature. With the ritual, Aditya enters the other world and reassures Sanjana. As he strives to free her, the ominous footsteps of the lurking creature echo through the void. Suddenly, the creature attacks Aditya, each blow resonating in the real world as Aditya's body jerks in response. It's a harrowing spectacle, as though the barrier between the spiritual and physical realm is thinning, connecting the fates of Aditya and the creature in a brutal dance of survival. Simultaneously, Shania storms into the hospital. As Aditya injures the creature, Sanjana too recoils in pain. Shania embarks on a horrifying killing spree, her once human features twisted into a visage of pure rage. Her actions are merciless and swift, leaving behind a trail of lifeless bodies as she cuts a bloody path through the hospital. Her manic fury turns the sanctuary of healing into a haunting theater of death. She first eliminates the priest, then the doctor. Meanwhile, the supernatural creature, after inflicting severe damage on Aditya, attempts to claim Sanjana as its own. It reaches out for her, grasping her hair in a cruel grip, intent on dragging her deeper into its dark domain. The sight of Sanjana in distress stirs Aditya to action. Simultaneously, in the real world, Shania is furiously working to undo the ritual knot, a symbol of protection. Her hands move with a desperate haste, tugging at the tie as if her very existence depends on it. Back in the spiritual world, a sudden resurgence of energy jolts Aditya awake. Driven by love and fear for Sanjana, he charges at the creature, a look of fierce determination etched on his face. In a climactic showdown, Aditya battles the creature, ultimately delivering the fatal blow that ends the creature's reign of terror. Aditya saves Sanjana. The victory, however, is short-lived. A distraught Shania subjects herself to an unspeakable act. Engulfed in despair, Sanjana makes a dreadful choice. In a haunting moment, she pours acid over herself. The sight of her self-destruct, grim and horrific, leaves an indelible mark on this chilling tale. Thank you for watching our Ras 3 recap. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your feedback. Your support is invaluable as we grow our channel.